to bring you another review. I am Multi-Topic Talk. I've seen a lot of 2024 movies. Here's my review for Rebel Ridge. That's a Netflix movie, I believe. I might be wrong. It feels like it. But this time around, not in a bad way. So maybe I lost my sense of taste. Or maybe we actually have a gem. Let's find out. Long story short, Rebel Ridge is an action flick, but they build tension, they build drama, they try to build an interesting premise and story. And I sound like someone that didn't really like what they were doing, but no, I did enjoy it. I tried to build up the review right now, but Rebel Ridge was really cool. And usually Netflix, it's hit and miss. I think when there's a bad movie, it's Netflix, but apparently they can also do good things like Emilia Perez or Rebel Ridge. These are the more recent ones. So maybe I'm too harsh. Maybe I just remember the damsel and the mea culpa. I don't know, but here it's like John Wick with a black guy. Um, that's the idea. And that John Wick is not really there out for blood. He's more like there because there's corruption. And he is the response, the answer to corruption. And that's I think the strength of that movie. Now let's start off with my first issue. In some of the night scenes, the lighting wasn't great. My best example would be the catacomb as the duo try to find proof. We couldn't see shit, even if this was in purpose. I don't think it's great. I stopped from seeing details on set or how the actors react to things and emote. Number two, I admit the pacing wasn't great. I feel like lots of scene could have been trimmed down. The runtime didn't feel justified for its plot and story beats, as it's quite simple and straightforward. And again, I feel like your Netflix, most of the time you will ask your people make a 2 hour movie. But why? If if it's not 2 hour your story, why do you push yourself into making it like 2 hours? And I will be blunt and honest. At times, I did watch part of the movies at 1.5 speed. Not the entire thing, but sometimes when I feel like it's just shots so people move from place to place because there's a lot of that in the movie, I was moving at 1.5. And when people would start talking or having a fight, because there are a few fights in the movie, I would place it at normal speed. But when it's just camera work and that kind of stuff, I would just play the movie at 1.5 speed. So these are my two issues. Um, Outside of that, I was entertained. I thought that was a great movie. The main character starting to care after the girl got injected was cool. The main character was likable, well told how the system was rigged. Um, I guess the movie started with a racist, corrupt cop. Nice trope, Netflix. That sounds terrible and very woke-ish, but I don't give a shit. If that's your premise, let's go for it. And in reality, it's more like a corrupt system than anything else. I think in the end, it's just that in the USA, guys seem and sound so racist that it kind of makes sense from an outsider perspective that these cop would use that easy prey as that black guy to torment and use or I guess treat like shit. I guess it's a thing that's really happening in the USA because guys are more divided than ever and yeah. Um the next thing I gotta say. The action was amazing. The main character being, to some extent, a pacifist was cool. Because in the movie, there's many times where the guy is clever instead of just being, yo, you know what, I will fight you. He just took a step back. He kept his cool. And these villains, these bad cops, these corrupt people, they gave so many reasons for the main character to snap. And I feel like that was the point of them acting the way they were. And that was the intent behind the movie. And the fact that the main character didn't snap was kind of cool. That's why I'm saying it builds up tension. Because you're like, instead of having some quick and easy fight, you have it make sense. And on top of that, like, you don't see him beating the crap out of cops because he would get arrested and that kind of shit. It doesn't really give them reason to arrest him. Most of the time where fights happen, it's because they kind of seek for it. They kind of searched after it. They kind of went after it. They caused their own downfall. I don't know if it's the right way to say it, but I think there's also a lot of irony where the main villain is like, "Oh, we like to de-escalate, but keep escalating what's going on." So he doesn't really know the definition of escalation. But I I think that was on purpose. The main character or the villain is an hypocrite, and that's part of the charm. I think that movie felt very grounded despite its aspect where there's no way in hell a city would do everything they did, but hey, that's a movie. The action was entertaining. The trip in the catacomb was entertaining. The big action piece with the smoke and everything was great. The cops siding with the good guys was cool at the very end. And they were a proper setup because at some point in the movie they're like, "Oh, I got an inside woman." And the payoff is great because after that seed they planted, you're like, "Oh, this is when the double agent will reveal themselves." But no, they don't. And you're waiting for that moment where the double agent revealed himself. And that's great. Builds up tension. And again, the action was great and I mean the main character didn't really use guns. He used his fist and a few moments he used a weapon that was a non-lethal weapon, and that gives a unique flair, a unique flavor to that movie. It felt like a kind of movie where it's like the Punisher because the guy knows what he's doing, but he doesn't delete people. It's like the Punisher, but not lethal. And I think that's the highlight of this movie. That's that's great. I think this movie deserves a very good 9.5 out of 10. Um, unique. It's a must see, it's a must watch. I know I spoiled the entire thing for you, but hey, watch it. And with this, I am out.